Half the people who sit the Florida Business and Finance exam fail it. And when they do, it's usually not the law questions that get them, it's the math. The frustrating part, the exam only really uses a handful of calculations over and over. Here are the five you must be able to do in your sleep, with a worked example for each. Quick context, if you're new here, every contractor licensed in Florida, GC, building, residential, HVAC, plumbing, roofing, pool, requires the same business and finance exam. 120 questions, 6.5 hours, all open book. That clock sounds generous until you realize it's barely 3 minutes a question, including every trip into your books. Math questions are where prepared candidates bank time. You either know the procedure or you don't. So let's make sure you know the procedure. Number one, the current ratio, and its cousin, working capital. The exam loves these because your license application actually depends on financial responsibility, so the board wants you to speak this language. The current ratio is simply current assets divided by current liabilities. Working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. Same two inputs, two different questions. Say your company has $90,000 in cash, $60,000 in accounts receivable, and $30,000 in materials inventory. That's $180,000 in current assets. You owe $75,000 in accounts payable and $15,000 on short-term note. $90,000 in current liabilities. Current ratio, 180 divided by 90, and that's 2-1. Working capital, 180 minus 90. That's $90,000. The trap the exam sets: sneaking a long-term item into the list. A 5-year equipment loan does not belong in current liabilities. Read the word current like your answer depends on it, because it does. Number 2, markup versus margin. This is the single most reliable wrong answer on the exam, because in the field we use words interchangeably. The exam does not. Markup is profit as a percentage of cost. Margin is profit as a percentage of price. Same dollar, different base. Your cost on a job is $80,000 and you charge $100,000. The $20,000 difference is a 25% markup, 20 over 80. But it's a 20% margin, 20 over 100. Both answers will be sitting right there in your choices. Both feel right. The question decides which one it wants. Your only job is to notice which word it used. Here's a memory hook. Markup is over cost. Both have consonants up front. Margin goes over price. Number 3, overtime. Federal law. Time and a half over 40 hours in a work week. And the exam tests whether you can actually compute a paycheck. Your carpenter earns $22 an hour and works 48 hours this week. 40 hours at 22 is 88. The overtime rate is 22 times 1.5, $33. 8 overtime hours at 33 is $264. Total gross, $1144. 2 traps. First, overtime is calculated by the week. The exam will hand you a 10-hour day inside a 40-hour week, hoping you'll pay daily overtime that isn't owed. Second, watch for the questions that ask for the overtime premium, the extra half, versus the full overtime wage. Slow down the last sentence of the question. That's where they like to hide it. Number 4, retainage. Construction contracts hold back a slice of every progress payment until the work is accepted, and the exam wants you fluent in the arithmetic. You've completed $300,000 of work on a contract with 10% retainage. The owner holds back $30,000. You've been paid $270,000. Now, the pay application for this month is $80,000. They hold 8. They cut a check for $72,000. The question you actually see: how much has the owner retained in a total, and what's due at final completion. Keep two running numbers, total earned and total retained, and never let the month's billing contaminate the running totals. Simple math. But at hour 5 of the exam, simple math is exactly what goes sideways. Number 5. Overhead and break even. The math that decides whether your bid makes money or just makes noise. Your office costs, rent, insurance, office salaries run $120,000 a year, and you expect to do a million in annual volume. That's 12% overhead. If you want an 8% profit, a job that costs you $50,000 in direct costs can't be a bid at 55. You haven't covered your own office yet. Costs plus 12% overhead plus profit on top. That's the structure the exam wants you to walk through, step by step, in order. And break even. Fixed cost divided by gross margin percentage gives you the volume where you stop losing money. 120,000 fixed at a 20% margin means 600,000 in volume before your first dollar profit. The exam phrases this 5 different ways. The formula never changes. Here's the honest takeaway. None of this math is hard at your kitchen table. It gets hard at minute 200 of a 6.5 hour exam with a proctor and $215 on the line. The difference between knowing the procedure and owning it is practice under pressure. If you want to find out where you actually stand, there's a free 12-question readiness quiz at licensereadylearning.com. No sign up, takes 8 minutes, link below. It'll tell you domain by domain where you're strong and where you bleed. If you want the full system with adaptive practice, spaced repetition, time simulations, and a readiness score that'll tell you when to book the real thing, the whole business finance course is $90. That's less than half of one retake fee. All right. Good luck out there and go pass it the first time.